And the little red thing at the top comes up and tells me I'm live. Let me just have a swig of my throat stuff here. While we're waiting to, yep, we'll just check out that got the audio. Yep. So all systems go for now. Camera worked first time as well tonight. It's probably because I did a video for Facebook, but how are you, the one that's in there?
Got a bit of work.
Yeah, there's probably more, but you know how YouTube takes time to catch up. Oh, 3 watching now. Started streaming less than a minute ago. Yeah, I know I did.
I got 5. 5.
So, 5. So now it's giving me messages next to that. Okay. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, good evening. Good evening. How are we all today? Under the apocalyptic grey skies that are continuing. No rain, though. As you can see, I've had the first of my biannual shearing. Good evening, Steve. Yeah. I went out to, where did I go? I went to the shop. Good evening, Stitch. Is this little Stitch? I went to the shop to get some baccy. It's still 20-minute walk for me. It's only 30 yards down the bloody road. But it was a bit windy. And when I came back home, I've got to pass the mirror in the hallway. And I just stood there and I'm like, what the fuck? It was stood out here. I mean, I could have painted it orange and put a red nose on. And I could have been that, what's that Killer Clown's bloody name? It. No, what was it called? Oh, fucking hell.
Named Oscar.
I can't remember the name
Pennywise.
now. Pennywise, yeah, like Pennywise hair. I thought, right, it's got to be done. It's that time of year. It's coming up to, it is spring. So I took the clippers to it. I haven't stepped outside yet to see how the cold feels with it. But with nothing on the top anyway, it never used to really matter. No, it needed doing for a while. But even that, stood in the shower and shaving and what have you, even that tired me out today. I was quite surprised, given me, mind you, I don't think I got my chair all the way forward. No, that don't help. But, yeah, we got the big well, I say big, a local election going on tomorrow that seems to be the dominant story over everything at the moment, other than the Epstein files, obviously. You know, that sent them all into a spin, and because some of our government involved in what's going on, it's all intertwined now, isn't it? Do you want a party running your area, Gorton and Denton, that are basically fraudsters, if you listen to some quarters? But, you know, I mean, I'm still of the opinion that it was a planned time to release the Epstein files. They knew the uproar it was going to cause, particularly in America, amongst the elite over there, and as we've seen, quite a few here. But other than Randy Andy, it seems that all the other involvement from this side in this country as I said before, is all to do with the financial and misconduct in public office. Yeah, it could be connected, but why aren't they dragging in Starmer? It's been proved he's got connections there with Mandelson. He lied to the country to give him the position he got him. Straight away, that's misconduct in public office, as far as I'm concerned. But it ain't as short as mine, Jen. Good evening, by the way. But yeah, and the king. But yeah, it'd be nice to think that Starmer would get lifted. I mean, that would be the ultimate giggle at the moment, I suppose. But you gotta think how far this goes. No, yeah, fair enough, Jen. He could stretch right as far as old Charlie boy, and it could go right up to Starmer. Good evening, Karen. Starmer's still denying that he knew anything about it. Well, apparently there is evidence just to prove that that's a lie anyway. But it does show now, when you think about the people that are defending Starmer over all this, they're the ones I worry about just as much, because they're blindly following whatever he says, right or wrong, truth or lie, and basically they can't see that they're following a guilty person, and it's something that Starmer's done on many occasions himself, isn't it? But with what he done in the justice system around that. But they're not. Good evening, Flyby. They're not bright enough to see where just blindly following a dictator is going to lead them. I mean, you've only got to look through history, haven't you? Gordo, good evening, buddy. And it never ended well for them, but they don't see that. I mean, what have you done? Had it on top chat again?
No, I cleaned my glasses.
Oh. She was complaining last week she couldn't see all the comments. She was on bloody top chat. But yeah, I'd want to see Starmer fall. And I want to see him fall in disgrace. I want to see him ridiculed, mocked mercilessly, rejected everywhere he goes. And then I'd like to see him locked up. Is that nasty of me? Oh dear, somebody might say that's a hate crime. A wish isn't a hate crime, whether it's in your head or said out loud.
So what was it you wanted? Him to be locked up somewhere, yeah?
I want to be him locked up for basically treason.
I think it'd be funny if you were locked up with him.
They could give me 6 months locked up next to him, and by the time I've been there a week, I'd be doing fucking life.
Oh, you'd have him crying in the first 2 days.
No, lock him up with Bubba. Yeah. He'd probably enjoy that, wouldn't he? Apparently. Got to get that in there. Yeah, put him in the same jail that they put the little rent boys, rent arsonists.
I'll be out.
Oh shit! I've started too early in the evening, and I got fucking note after note here.
Yeah, get on with it.
But yeah, now there was an MP yesterday stood up in the House when they were putting an act through, and he said, "I'd like to remind everybody that the police have no powers in this place," meaning the House of Commons. I believe it was to get Starmer to release some communications over the Epstein shit and that.
Yeah, it was.
It was it? Yeah, I seem to remember it. But yeah, he said the police have no powers in this place, meaning the House. Mr. Speaker didn't say anything about it. But then you think the day before, you had old Chubby Fingers Charlie Boy and Starmer came out with, in one of their relevant speeches each, with the words exactly the same, saying nobody is above the law and it's for everybody. So they've openly admitted that they're not above the law. So where that, if they have got parliamentary protection in there, I don't know, but maybe Starmer will stay in there. No, you can only make things worse. The law doesn't exist. It doesn't apply to him with what he does. I'd probably go through my videos and I've pointed out quite a few things that I would consider illegal, and in words they are. But hopefully it won't be too long before we start seeing that, to be honest. And that would be the last nail in Starmer's coffin as PM. Absolutely, if he got arrested. But then look at what's going on behind the smoke from all this.
Mirrors?
Smoke and mirrors, distractions. Well, he was trying to get away with the Chagos deal, trying to force the indigenous people off the Chagos Islands, or the archipelago, whatever it is. Some people are saying it's been blocked, others are saying it hasn't, but I believe there are challenges gone in. If anybody does know any update or different than that, obviously let me know. But now it looks like apparently there's been secret deals, and a deal has been worked out on paper about giving Gibraltar away as well. We've had the military there for God knows how long. I mean, that would give Spain, who it would seem is in favour of what's been taking over many countries at the moment, by giving God knows how many 100,000, whatever, illegals in Spain automatic residency, allowing them to stay. And if you think about it, it's also the gateway to the Med, main shipping route through to get out to the Middle East quicker, down the Suez, all the other countries around the Med. So it has quite a strategic position. And he's going to hand that over. Well, a few people are quite pissed off about it, because it was never tabled towards any committees. It was never spoken about in the House. And now all of a sudden he's got a deal ready to go.
His Trump ego has kicked in.
Yeah. It's... And like I say, they are the Chagos. Gibraltar is probably more strategic to us at the moment, but it's a very strategic place for NATO to have a NATO member, as it were, who agrees with NATO in in charge there. But well, yeah, is he trying to sell off the whole bloody country? 'Cause it certainly looks like it. He has tried to give it all away. He's been warned, he's been threatened, and he still keeps ploughing on with it. That's something that's been being pushed through behind the smoke of all this. But but the scandals keep coming, and I really think there will be a lot more. I mean, look at where the way they've just given or said they're going to give, was it 4 billion to the education, stipulating that this money was for helping the special needs kids in schools, because we know there's not enough placements for them and stuff like that. And they try to treat them as a normal kid in a normal class, and sometimes that just doesn't work out, with issues from either side. But is that the ones that he will be helping, or will he be helping the special needs ones that want to wear a dress from 4 years old? A little boy wants to wear a dress. They're going to class him as special needs. Well done, Gordo. We gave up for a lot longer, but we cough a lot less with the smoke. But yeah, we already know that he's literally came out and announced the plans they've got for the kids, and it is literally an indoctrination before you get your first vote. Along with the ban on the internet, which I've said before. I mean, more the onus on that should be on the parents, as I say. They're moaning they can't put food on the table, yet they can spend $1.50 on a fucking iPhone for their 12-year-old. Jesus, if I'd have had $1.50 spent on me when I was 12, I'd have had some of the wildest motorbikes around in the day. But
it was worth a bit more in those days to buy a house for 5.
Well, I will admit, because the old man did buy me my first bike, and I was 12 years old, and it cost him the grand sum of 15 quid, I think it was. It was an old BSA Bantam, and after riding it for a few weeks, I thought, fuck that, I'm going to buy my own next time. But I had it taken away from me for a year. But it went to a friend of mine. I still had it running. It just sat in the back of the workshop. And a friend of mine wanted to put a little sidecar on it for his grandkids. So there you go. Don't weld your sidecar to it. And apparently it was still running the last I heard. So, mind you, it's probably a bit small for the grandkids now. But they're still trying to push through with this, doing away with the jury trials again. And yeah, and you've got the doing away with the court records, or the cover-up, or the cover-up, as I like to call it. But yeah, it's how many things should he have been removed for under misconduct in office, You know, we've seen that, the lies, the deceit, the cover-ups. What does he actually have to do to get pulled down?
Get arrested.
Get arrested. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's done stuff that, yeah, he could technically have been arrested for, but they haven't.
You or I would have been.
But today, I mean, PMQs, it was the usual bullshit and shit and slanging matches. But it shows their contempt for the Christian people of this country. Now, he's announced a little while back, a couple of weeks back, 40 million to further secure mosques. He reiterated that today after two lads were caught, apparently. Don't know who they were, but they were caught going into a mosque. Apparently, allegedly, one had an axe, the other had a knife. Well, considering the police told them at one point in the past, during some trouble, go and hide your weapons in the mosque. Really, that shouldn't be anything unusual, seeing someone going in a mosque with a weapon. But anyway, one got arrested. They were still looking for the other one, was the last thing I heard. But he reiterated the 4 million or 40 million for protection for mosques and their gathering houses. Well, why? They don't fucking pray in them. They'll kneel down in the middle of the fucking road in the nearest park just to piss everybody else off. So why protect the fucking mosques? And then he announced that he was also going to start a fund for people that have been affected by these attacks, the victims. He's going to, set up help and stuff for them.
Oh.
What about the fucking churches that have been burning down? The Christians that are being beaten up, arrested, harassed in their own fucking country. How about putting a few quid towards protecting them? Yeah.
Sorry, that's what the police is for.
Yeah,
They don't need extra.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't need extra.
We've seen the videos. The evidence is there. We've seen many burnt down. Not as many as France and Canada have been getting, but we've seen them assaulting the worshippers, as I say, in churches. And still nothing gets done. But you walk anywhere near a fucking mosque and you're a white person, you will be fucking instantly harassed. And it's no good calling the police, because all they're going to do is accuse you and arrest you of inciting hate for walking up the fucking road. Just by existing. Yeah, she was brilliant, Jen. I'll get onto her in a minute. But yeah, he keeps saying he's protecting people. But as we keep telling, he's the only ones he's protecting is everybody bar us. And he came out and said that the Muslims, for protection, should go to the mosques in groups. Isn't that inciting trouble? Isn't that inciting hate? Look at the way they walk about in groups in public. So they'll walk to the mosques in large groups just to show their dominance in that as well. But yeah, that WPC You're on about Jennifer. It's the one I'm thinking of. I mean, absolutely fair play to her. I mean, she diffused that situation. She quoted the law absolutely perfectly, even when things did get a little bit heated there with a bit of shouting going on. And, you know, that's what a copper should do. And there's a lot of coppers out there that could take a leaf from her book, I tell you. Sadly, because it's been shown in public, there's every chance she'll get reprimanded for it. It will certainly hold her back in her career, no doubt. Which to me, what she done there is wrong. She should actually be commended for her actions. Um, there wouldn't be so much hassle on our streets and mistrust in the police if there were more like her. You know? And we see it all the time, you know, the bias. And there was nothing biased about what she said. Nothing at all. And there was nothing racist either. But anyway, go back to the House of Commons. Oh, you know. One MP yesterday, I think it was, had to apologise for his language. He was talking about a quote, but he had said it as well. He just said there's some real dark shit going on. And yeah, he got pulled up for it. But today at PMQs, Kibby used the same tactic, if anybody was watching it, where she actually quoted someone as saying the Labour Party are a party of pedo defenders. And of course, Labour fucking erupted. Mr. Speaker had to shut him up a couple of times when she tried to continue. And she just looked at him and quietly said, see, their reaction tells us they know the truth. It's the truth. But yeah, that was one of the funny ones I took from today's pantomime. Yeah, I mean, I've always said, Jen, she's what the same way as I'd class Farage, and I've always been honest about it. They're very good speakers, and they're very good mouthpieces when it comes to shit like that. But I don't believe either of them have got what it takes to be Prime Minister. I mean, Farage was quite open himself. He said he didn't want to be Prime Minister. Although that seems to have been U-turned because he seems to be setting himself up for it. But yeah, I don't believe either of those two are Prime Minister material. But a mouthpiece, both of them are top of the game. But then you've got the new boy coming through with Rupert Lowe. He's creeping up there, you know. But yeah, you remember when Starmer got in? We will be the most transparent government that anybody's seen. Yeah, he's calling everybody out, Jen. I'm loving it because the evidence is all there, is what he's saying as well. But this transparent government, you know, you look at the secret deals. You got the China deal. We don't know what half the deals were. We still don't know what the deal is over the Spice Centre come embassy in London. You got the secret Jagos deals going on that nobody gets told about. Gibraltar, that's another prime example. And then you got Mad Redhead, ain't you? Miliband, the Fagin of the energy crisis. And we are in an energy crisis, believe it or not. I'll openly say that. He's got a secret deal going on with the Chinese that he won't disclose. And apparently he hasn't even disclosed it to the MPs. So straight away, there's misuse or bringing Parliament into disrepute or whatever Mr. fucking Speaker calls it. But it's crisis after crisis, cover-up after cover-up, secret deal after secret deal from what was going to be apparently the most transparent government in history. I mean, it's fucking laughable. It really is.
You can see straight through their lies, though.
Yeah. But, you know, you got the ones there sat in the background, didn't you? You know, there's Rachel Reeves. She's not saying a lot. She's keeping very quiet. But there again, she's probably working on where she's going to find these extra billions that Starmer has promised the Ukraine again. After only promised them 500 million about a month ago, if I remember. I also remember seeing somewhere, this is interesting, I must go and have a look at it again, see if I can find it, that funding a war that you're not directly involved in is illegal if you use taxpayers' money. I mean, I read that somewhere. Don't quote me on it. But, yeah, I might have a look at that in the week or over the weekend. And again, we're not hearing a lot from the old ginger tax evader, are we? She's gone very quiet. You know, I think she's just sitting there waiting for Labour to explode. You know, like a she-wolf circling a wounded animal. You know, and then you got the rest of them. They're the vultures. They're the next ring out. They're waiting to pick the carcass clean of whatever's left. You know, the Cooper, Phillipson, Lammy, Pretty Boy Streeting. He's gone awful quiet again. Since all this connection between him and Mandelson and Epstein, you know, that it was exposed that apparently he knew more about Mandelson than he let on. But it all seems to be coming down. I mean, Labour could sit back and just watch the War of Worlds between Reform and Restore. You know, and the others are chiping in on that as well, but they're not going to make any difference other than make cocks of themselves. You know, it's but what the fuck were the Greens thinking? Releasing a promo video for their local elections in Urdu. You know, what the fuck does that tell you about the Greens? They accuse Labour of leaning and trying to get all the Muslim votes, but even they haven't gone that far. And the Greens also announced that they've got a very, very good chance of winning the next general election as well. I mean, that did give me a bit of a giggle, but there you go. But I think it's going to come down to the way people vote, obviously.
sort of
But
goes without saying.
no, it's like we've said the other day. If the vote is split that much,
Yeah.
it would still give Labour the outside chance of getting in again. You know, that's the problem.
And that's why I said if the election was sooner rather than later, Nigel definitely has the advantage. But every
Yeah,
day
Lowe's taking more and more support
he's
away.
losing that advantage.
Pardon me. I mean, you know, they're saying the Reform are becoming the new Tories 2.0. Somebody described them as. You know, and you think about it, the Tories that helped create a lot of this mess that defected have been installed in prominent positions in Reform. And as I said last week, Doorstep's reactions have been varied. And I should say all of them suffer a certain amount of abuse on the doorsteps. With everything that's going on, they will always knock on a door where someone's not happy with them. But, you know, it's only Reform and Labour that seem to be up there saying, yeah, look, this is happening to us. It shouldn't happen. Yeah, allegedly, Jen, yeah. Yeah, they've asked him to account for quite a few million that's gone missing that was supposed to be used for some of his little pet projects or something, but the money never got there. So, yeah, that is a bit suspicious. And also basically lying to the select committee as well, claiming that he didn't know nothing about the grooming gangs when it's damn obvious he did. And apparently they got paperwork to prove that he knew about it. So that one's going to come up. But again, today, I mean, you know, Starmer taking the piss out of the Tories. With Kimmy saying, you know, yeah, they're a small party now, but they're more united. And Starmer instantly said, yeah, smaller party, because most of them are up here now. And he pointed up towards Reform, up on the back bench. Which I thought was a brilliant move from him. I will give him credit for that one. But you'd think on a run-up to even the local elections, Starmer would give it a rest with the lies and, you know, just to give his candidates a bit of a chance. But no, he's just ploughing on. Jen, I've left Reform to join Restore. I don't join any of them, Jen. I certainly wouldn't pay for it anyway. You know, I'll support them. I'll talk about them. I'll say, yeah, well done when they do something good. And I'll rip them to fucking pieces when they do something wrong. But I don't join as a member or anything like that. And literally, because the way it's going at the moment, you'd probably switch parties 3 or 4 times for a year anyway. Yeah, Reform has lost quite a lot of members to Restore. Quite a lot of members. But there doesn't seem to be any Labour bods defecting and going anywhere of any note, is there?
Nobody wants them.
Nope. And I mean, tomorrow...
Can you imagine somebody headhunting Rachel? Come on.
Honey, if they're cannibals.
We want you to come and work for us.
Give me that Lego bobblehead.
We want you to come and work for us.
I did see a funny post. Was it yesterday or today? Someone had put up the French have a solution to the elite's problem, and they're willing to lend the cure. And it was a picture of a guillotine. I mean, yeah, it's a meme that I've used before in another form, but I mean, tomorrow at Gorton and Denton, um, I saw one poll that actually put the Greens in front. Well, I don't believe that for a minute. Far from it. But as I say, it could be anybody. But Labour, Starmer himself actually came out and said that if reform take it off of Labour tomorrow, he said it's going to cause trouble. You mean like the trouble you've been causing there since you got in power? You know, he can't see the real world. His head's so far up his own ass. He can't see the real world. Or he's got it so far up somebody else's ass.
Doesn't seem to be able to smell the shit though either.
No. And there's enough of it thrown at him and plenty of it's fucking sticking, but he just ploughs on. But there was yesterday Labour Council again. Our wonderful council here in Birmingham, the Birmingham Council. Well, they were due to have a meeting, I think it was last week, to vote on this year's budgets, what they're going to spend and where. Somebody pointed out that with the timing of the meeting, it clashed with Ramadan. So they rearranged the meeting for 11 o'clock yesterday morning, late morning, within view and allowing for Ramadan. Why changing the time of it would make any fucking difference, you know? I mean, they're not going to hold it early enough that they don't go have their breakfast, and they're not going to work that late that they're going to miss their tea after dark. So why rearranging it was an issue to start with, I don't know. But the meeting went ahead. But they couldn't vote on their budget for this year because not enough Labour councillors turned up to the meeting to vote. Are the Muslims falling out with the Labour Council in Birmingham as well? But yeah, not enough of them turned up, so they're going to reschedule the meeting again. And apparently it's got to be done before the 11th of March. That is the cut-off date for announcing their yearly budget, which I thought was quite an amusing one with the shit that Birmingham Council are in. I mean, they're spending millions upon millions now on housing repairs that they obviously haven't got. It's an absolute giggle. So what's been going on up here then? Oh, good evening, Moo. Sorry, mate, didn't see you there. Yeah, I say it's looking like the big plan. I mean, it's happening in other countries, Australia, Canada. They're all following the same script, and that sure as hell ain't no coincidence. You know, several theories, aren't there? You know, the WEF are pulling the strings, the elitists, the money people, Rothschilds, people like that, the Fabian Society. Yeah, there's all sorts of reports out there, and yeah, a lot of them they say they're nothing but conspiracy theories. But when you look at what's out there, it's quite obvious that some of it is not just a conspiracy theory, especially when it comes to the WEF. And as our glorious dickhead of a dictator openly said, that he would much prefer to be ruled by Davos than Westminster. And I mean, that was before he got voted in as PM. You know, people just didn't take any notice of that sort of shit. But, oh, yeah, Lindsay Hoyle, Mr. Speaker's confession in the House today. Again, the Epstein-Mandelson shit. And apparently, it looks like he was the reason Mandelson got arrested when he did. Now, people are saying it was Lindsay Hoyle was on a trip to the British Virgin Isles, and apparently it's somewhere where Mandelson goes, and he'd been told, allegedly, I will say allegedly, that Mandelson was planning to do a runner to the British Virgin Isles, which would be completely fucking useless anyway, because we got excellent extradition laws in place with them. So they could have dragged him back. But because of this, Lindsay Hoyle admitted that he did do his due duty and inform the police of it. I haven't seen any disappear, Jen, unless you jumped onto Top Chat again. Whether you want to look into that, babe, see if you can see anything untoward.
I can see Moo there between two of Jenny's chats.
Yeah.
The one that says WPC and the star.
Yeah, I see
it. And then they're bloody cowards on their own. So I've got everything.
Yeah, I've got it here as well. But yeah, Mr. Speaker came out and admitted he informed the police that Mandelson can be a flight risk. So they immediately arrested him a lot earlier because apparently he had a voluntary interview booked with his lawyer and the police for either next week or the week after. Lindsay Hoyle said he was doing it as it was his duty to inform them. Absolutely right, it is. But why didn't he do it to start with as soon as this came out? Could it be that the Speaker in the House of Lords was originally getting the finger pointed at him as giving the information to the police? Now, if it came out and it was proved that it wasn't him, then Lindsay Hoyle would have been in deep shit. And I think that's the reason he came out and admitted it. I think he wanted to try and do it anonymously, but then they were pointing the finger at somebody else. So he had to do something, or again, he'd be bringing Parliament into disrepute by not declaring that it was him. Just my thought on that. Some of you might have different ideas, but oh, you can see him now, can you, Jen? I was going to say, if any comments disappear, other than YouTube removing them, me and Mrs. W do get a notification that it's been removed or somebody's blocked somebody. And I haven't seen any notifications come up at all,
Yeah.
to be honest. Have you?
No.
You know, I'm not always looking at the comments. I'm looking at my notes as well. But they're all, yeah, we got, they announced today the reduction in the energy price cap. Will it make any difference to us? Woohoo! Well, if anybody has got a lower bill than they were expecting, or the bills have dropped or anything, please let me know.
The radio was saying it should be £10 a month cheaper. I bet my standing order doesn't drop.
Yeah, well, what was it, £117? So, yeah, it's about a tenner a month, isn't it? But, yeah, I've spoken about this quite a few times before. It'll go up before their Jen. They'll probably put a price rise on it in the next budget, spring budget. Yeah. But this is what I've said many times before. And Labour done exactly the same. I mean, an interview this morning, where was it? On Sky, actually. The interviewer ripped Miliband apart, tied him right up in it all. But it's always the same thing. And it's the same with everything, the price of everything. They put it up and up and up to a level where people literally can't afford to pay. And then they'll bring it down a bit just to make themselves look good. Oh, look, we're going to give you a little bit back here. I mean, where she was tying him up, and I'm just using approximate figures here. When Labour came into power, the cap was 1,400 quid. I'm rounding figures up. When Labour come in, it's gone up to 1,700. And the bills go up accordingly, obviously. So with a reduction of, it is actually, I think they say £117 on average. So we'll say 100 quid. So they're saying, predicting a reduction in your bills of 100 quid. So we're still carrying the rise of over 200 quid out of the 300 quid that they put it up to start with. And they think we're supposed to feel fucking happy about that. You off, Jen? All right, sweetheart. Take care.
No, Jen.
So, yeah, we're still carrying that £200 rise. It's like I say, once the price goes right up, it gives them manoeuvring room. So, yeah, if your bill goes down, let me know. Probably won't see it for a month or two, but bear that in mind. Let me know.
Will do. Can I change the subject just for a moment?
Aye.
Because I know Jenny's aware, but I know there's a lot that don't do Facebook. Heard from Holly the other day. She's still here. She's still alive. She's still waiting for a surgery. Just for those that know Holly and don't do Facebook.
She hasn't got a messenger on there either, and she hasn't got Discord on either.
No.
So no, she's keeping herself to herself. As I've said before, same with Dan. We don't pester them. They got their lives to live, but they know if they want to chat or they want anything, they know we're here, and they know we'll do what we can. So.
And I'll be honest, I'm fed up of waiting for Holly to phone me. I'll have to phone her the weekend or something.
Yeah, that's Miliband pulling the wool over people's eyes again. The idiot ain't got a clue what he's doing. It's costing the country enough to supply the energy now because we're buying it from abroad. But they're getting it from the oil and the gas from the same fucking holes in the ground that we do. But ours aren't allowed. Yeah, it don't make sense, do it? But there again, Starmer blamed all this again on Russia the other day, didn't he? But again, I saw a report now. I haven't seen anything on any mainstream media reports, but I have seen other reports about this pipeline that the Ukraine is supposed to have been blown up. Apparently, it supplied Russian oil to Slovakia, I think it was, and Hungary. Oh. Well, what was reported was Slovakia uses 100% Russian oil to produce their energy. Hungary apparently is a bit less. That they reckon that's around 85%. But according to another report, Slovakia produces a hell of a lot of electricity for the Ukraine. So if he's done that, he's basically cut off two countries from their supply and ability to create energy. It also cuts him off from a lot of energy. Now, I would call that a shot in the foot. But it gets better. What's going to happen now? What's going to be said about this, if it's true? Because both Hungary and Slovakia are not only members of the EU, they are also both members of NATO, which are the ones that are funding him in this fucking war. He's literally shot himself in the foot and biting the hand that fucking feeds him, all in one foul swoop. So that if that report is right and that as actually what has happened, that could change the whole outlook of the war, couldn't it, really? But yeah. I've always said he's not an elite, is he? He was a fucking comedy actor and a, shall we say, a pretty little boy. And apparently in Ukraine, when you look at the reports there, he's as bad as any fucking dictator and gangster going. They still haven't accounted for a lot of the millions and millions and millions he's been given.
Just put it so.
Well, if you watch his fucking clips, these drones, a lot of their drones are handmade commercial little drones, play drones, with a bit of explosive attached to them, with two wires at the front that when they hit something, it detonates. Is that the sort of thing that a country that's been given billions and billions of pounds, dollars, euros, to fight a war? What's he spending the fucking money on? He's not spending it on personnel because they're snatching them off the street. It just don't make sense. Don't make sense. Nothing around it does. And now we're going to sanction Russia some more. I thought you fully sanctioned them right at the fucking start, for crying out loud. Oh no, we'll let them keep a little bit of income coming in just so they can keep fighting. The money was just resting in his account. Well, we know that several of his oppos have bought big places in America and other parts of the world. Apparently, he's built this holiday resort somewhere in the Ukraine as well. And although reports said he'd bought several, I believe he's only bought one property in America. Would Trump take him in now? Let him stay? That could be a little bit suspect, couldn't it?
Not a hope in hell.
No. I mean, yeah, I could get back into talking about the grooming gangs and the inquiry, but I don't really want to. There's plenty of shit flying around about that. All is clear. Good evening, loafer. Is that a slur, or have you been sniffing the fumes of your homebrew again?
I think that's how you spell clear in Lancashire. I don't know. Not certain. I don't speak the lingo on the other side. Well, further up.
Oh, there's one little note that was hiding under everything. Last one. Oh yeah, they were going on today about the fly tipping again. What they're going to do about it? Well, a lot of it they're bringing on themselves. You know, obviously there are organised gang that get paid to take rubbish away and then just fly tip it. You know, we've seen that in Oxfordshire and other areas. Obviously you got Birmingham, which a lot of it is a fucking tip at the moment, and it was getting that way before the strike as well. But the biggest problem I see with basic what I'd call domestic fly tipping, and I mean up to things the size of fridges, sofas, that sort of shit, plus your normal waste in your bags, is how difficult it is and how much ball ache you got to go through to get to a fucking council tip. You know, you've got to, most places you got to book a slot. You've got to prove that you live within a certain area of the place. You know, you live 5 yards outside, no, you can fuck off. There's lots of stuff, including the big stuff, that they charge you for. You know, builders are being charged extortionate amount of money to dump their builders' waste in council tips. So is it any wonder, you know, with the way finances are today, even the little man up the street, he's just going to throw his rubbish where there's some more, and the heaps build up. And unfortunately, unscrupulous builders will tip their crap wherever. You know, it would be unfair to say all the fly tipping and crap is down to a certain minority. I will say that would be totally unfair. It's just that there's more videos of them being caught than there is of white people, although there is a few out there of white people doing it. But you can't just blame them for that. It's been happening for a long time. Although it does seem some of the criminal gangs that are involved are not controlled by, shall I say, indigenous people. A bit like quite a few hooky businesses that seem to be coming to light. I think the biggest scam was the Somalian day centres in America, wasn't it? They raked in absolute fucking millions, getting paid millions for looking after non-existent kids. That just shows you how dumb the system can be. It's, as I say, it's not just us. It's happening all over the world. All over the world. Yeah, it's Justin, my very own Justin. Was that Justin a beer? And I'm really looking forward to July, just to get away from it all. You know, even when I do post or talk about something when we're away on the laptop, it's usually to do with the fishing or something stupid I've done. And it is just nice for a fortnight, turn your head off to it all. You know, I might look at one newscast a day just to get the gist of the headlines, but that's about it, just to keep myself up to date. And that's probably why I feel healthier up there, is because I spend more time outdoors than I do indoors there. Although not very far away, because I can't do that. But, you know, even just going and sitting outside and, you know, quick little shuffle down to the beach for an hour's fishing. Although that normally wipes me out, but it's something to look forward to. But they're trying to tax us on that now, aren't they? You know, taxing a fucking Englishman to have his holiday in England. Oh, I went all light-headed then.
I do hope they don't bring that rubbish in. Because it'll cripple people like Vera.
Well, they bought it in Wales, didn't they? For the guest houses and hotels.
Did anybody use it?
Whether they actually put it in place, I don't know. Cornwall was talking about it. And now they're on about it, doing it for the rest of the country. It will kill the holiday trade. But, you know, that's what they want, isn't it? You know, I've said it before. Reeves has killed off so many business sectors. Sit with, you know, with her budgets and taxes. And because she's fucked all that up, she's now just inventing taxes to try and cover her ass. Well, it ain't going to work. I mean, you've only got to look at the way the businesses have gone now. Holiday trade, let's take that for instance. That's what I'm talking about. So you're going to tax people to go on holiday in their own country. People won't go on holiday. So, holidays shut down, people out of work. So what little tax does come in through that sort of thing, they've lost as well. You know, they're trying to drive cars off the road, including EVs. What tax are they going to put on us to cover the absolute billions that they make in tax over motoring, over all aspects of it? And they just don't see it. She can't see it. You know, she's professing to save the country while actually destroying it. And again, the way she's doing it, it does seem like it's all planned. And it does fall into that conspiracy theory, if you like. Lodger, good evening, mate.
Yeah. Cripple cripple people like Danny Dyer just as much if they're bringing.
Yeah, it's
because it's additional you've got to charge for people to come. And holidaying in the UK is still as expensive, if not more expensive, than going on one of these all-inclusive,
absolutely
cheapy holidays. So,
I mean,
yeah.
You know, if you're a hotelier or owner of a guest house, whatever, you've got to weigh up whether you're going to soak up that tax and not charge your customers anymore, or do you want to drive customers away by charging them the tax? Either way isn't good, you know. And it's the same with every tax they've introduced. Even if it's an existing tax, the way they pissed it about, they're actually losing tax.
I've watched so many companies go under.
Yeah. Well, you've probably seen it happening from a lot longer than I have from your perspective of work. You know, all of a sudden payrolls are disappearing, companies folding up.
There were so many were crippled by COVID.
Yeah.
They've struggled to get back on the feet in the last few years. And these changes, they've got them in every...
Well, she's literally crippling the ones that did manage to get back on their feet. The ones that recovered or more or less recovered from COVID, as well as driving out the new investors. Oh, you know, the financial circles now are saying, you know, it's a very, very high risk to invest in this country. And the other thing with holidays, you go to what I would call the main holiday resorts and destinations. Look at the state of the places. It's overrun. They're overrun with immigrants. You know, there was one couple that actually complained that they were put in the same hotel as immigrants. They had a section of the hotel for the immigrants and a section for the holiday makers. And they didn't tell them until they got there. I would have gone fucking ballistic. You know, it's... So on that side of it, the hotels that are doing that, they're killing it for themselves. Because the well-known hotels that are taking them in, people just won't take their business there. You know? And you think a lot of the hotels, they're not being run by the original owners. The owners were already in the shit and still trying to recover from the likes of COVID and stuff. And, of course, these big companies have been going around buying them up. Oh, you're in deep shit financially. We'll take what you got, lock, stock and barrel, clear your debt. There you go. There's a few bob to help you on your way.
£1.50.
Oh, in fairness, they are paying good money because they know within a couple of contracts they'll make that money back off the government.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Now, it's not like a few £100,000 buying a little house, guest house, whatever. It's buying a little guest out for £1 million so you can charge £5 million over the next 3 years. It's unbelievable. And they're getting away with it. You know, the government said they were going to clamp down on, how did they put it, excess profit. Well, if you've already paid up front for the fucking contracts, what are you going to do?
I'm sorry.
That was in the contract at the time.
The whole point of companies making profit is so that they can pay it a percentage of it to the government.
Yeah.
So they're trying to cut their own throats.
And then they're paying low-paid, low-houred workers that have been given permission, special permission to work, and they're paying them to work in the hotels on security and shit. You know, we've seen the videos, security officers outside a hotel that can't bloody speak English even. I mean, there was two young ones, where was it? I think it was in Bristol somewhere. They greeted some auditors walking down the drive by walking towards them hand in hand. They were not putting their arms out to stop people. They were literally holding hands. And I'm like, what the you know?
Safety in numbers.
Yeah, I think English Rose and what have you, I think they've got a list of the hotels or the known hotels that should be blacklisted. So I think they posted that somewhere. It might not be on YouTube, obviously. Even Active Patriot now, I see more of him on Facebook and X. Oh, what a fucking minefield that is, isn't it? X. Jesus. I mean, you do see the truth of some things on there, but you know, it's. But there again, I don't go looking for the real bad shit. You know, people say, "Oh, it comes up in their feed." Well, it don't come up in mine because I don't ever go looking for it. It's.
The algorithm says if you watched it once, you may wish to watch it again.
Yeah.
So let's put it up there.
Yeah, but it was like that car channel on YouTube. I got really into it. It was a section of videos on vintage motor racing, the beginnings and the origins of different motorsport. So I thought, yeah, you know, I watched a couple and yeah, they started regularly popping up in the feed. So I regularly started watching them.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point where I was watching 3 or 4 a day. And then all of a sudden it was like, you're watching too much of them. We're not going to recommend you them anymore. And they stopped. And it was, I hadn't even got halfway through the list that they got up of videos. But then it just stopped.
You could have gone looking for them.
Yeah, I could have done.
You couldn't be bothered.
But if I was continually watching them, then the algorithm should surely predict it. Right, yeah, he's watching that. We'll give him another one of them. But nope.
You pissed him off.
Yeah. Even the old Silver Fox now, he's realising, he's not admitting it, but he's having issues now with YouTube, with shadow banning, unsubbing people. It's literally because of his content. You know, it's affecting, he's moaning because it's affecting his monetization, of course, like a lot of them do when that happens. I'm not knocking him for it, but as I said, I don't monetize. I never intended to, and I never will on any of the platforms I'm on. You know, I don't even pay for the next level up of X or anything like that, or ad free. Yeah, I refuse to pay him for it. Yeah.
And it is a refusal. Because when he swears about adverts that keep popping up, I'm like, why don't you pay on YouTube just to get rid of them?
Well,
nope.
I'm learning now. I probably used to annoy him a lot anyway, because every advert that come up, I'd make a point of going blocking it or whatever. But now I don't get as many, and I just ignore them. I just scroll past them. You know, make sure you don't hover over any of them, so you're not showing any interest. And I don't get as many. I'd probably get more on Facebook now than anywhere else. X is full of them anyway. But yeah, as me saying, I'm never ever going to do social media. I mean, at the moment, I think I'm on 1, 2, 3, at least 4 platforms.
Yeah.
No, 5, 6. Don't forget Discord and WhatsApp. But I don't post a lot on any of them, if at all. I mean, I haven't touched Discord for weeks, and last time I looked was only because I got an alert
From Gordo.
for Gordo, yeah. WhatsApp. Occasionally, I'll get a message through it, and we have got one little group on there that when we do have something to say, yeah, we're in there on that. Rumble, I've got an account, but I've only posted one video on there. But I do post short videos now on Facebook, simply because I get more views on there. Well, twice as many views on there as I get on YouTube for the videos. So, and if I've really got something that's spicy to say, then it goes on X. Good evening, Peter, by the way, in the background there. He'll be watching later. And good evening, all the lurkers. Didn't mention them last week, did I?
I don't know, they all popped in at the end. Well, some of them popped in at the end to say hello. Oh, I have been here.
Yeah. Hello, I'm here.
I've been here.
But, has anybody got any opinions or anything to say on what I've been talking about there? It's always easier to keep going when you're bouncing off somebody or answering questions. Nope, nobody wants to speak, look. Oh,
poor baby. Nobody wants to talk to you.
Well, we know Jen's going to go with Restore. I think it would come, for me, it would come down to who's saying what at the time.
Who's saying what at the time, plus who actually stands a chance because they've got enough people.
Well, that's it. As you rightly said, the longer it goes on now, with Reform losing more and more support, is everybody going to switch their allegiance to Low? I don't think so. No. Especially them Tory defectors, they won't. But, he's getting a few defectors as well from other places. And as I say, it's because he's saying the right thing. I mean, yeah, he's a millionaire, but he does actually work a farm as well. He's more in touch with the people. He's listened to what the people are saying. Yes, he's been a bit of a one-horse race at the moment because it's always been the grooming gangs. But now he's starting to spread. Yeah, a lot of the spread is accusing other people and promising to bring them to account, which is absolutely brilliant. Farage is going the other way. He's trying to put together some sort of manifesto. But as I said earlier, with some of the things he's putting in that, people are leaving just because of that. But it comes down to us what I always say. You can believe what you want. The proof in the pudding is when they get in power, and that's when you'll know whether they're worth their salt and they're worth what they said, whether they stick to their word. Because so far, we haven't had a government that's done that with the Tories or Labour. Admittedly, there's going to be hiccups, problems arrive, and as somebody said, you do end up making one or two U-turns. But if you're making them U-turns because you've realised that's not what the people want or that's not what the people deserve, then I don't have a problem with U-turns like that. They've learned. They've seen what they've done isn't going to work, so we'll change it. But all Sama does is change things to either cover up or to make things deliberately fucking worse, which he's done on many occasions.
Or only give us half back of what he's taken.
That is always. It doesn't matter what government you've got. And reform and restore would be exactly the same.
I don't doubt it.
There will be occasions, probably not as many, where they'll give with one hand and take back with the other. It is just a fact of government. That's how they work.
We've had that through the year, and it depends what you do with your life as to how you want. But yeah, every budget, we're putting up the alcohol and taking down on the cigars, but putting it up on the tobacco. And it's like, we'll make it cheaper for the hoi polloi, but the everyday man in the street that can only afford a roll up, we're going to clobber him. So we've seen it year after year.
And the thing is, it's hitting the working class and the lower class more than anybody else.
It's always been the case.
When prices go up, those that have got the big money, they can afford the prices, so they don't moan about them.
If everything they'd done, they had also given us a bit more tax-free allowance, it would have put a bit more money into our pocket after tax, that we wouldn't have minded a little bit here or a little bit there. Well, but we're not getting anything.
The thing is that they used to call them the elites. They can afford this, that, and the other. But you've got to a stage now where, what shall I pick on? A train driver can earn just around 20 grand less than an MP. Yet those two jobs are so far apart. You think the leader, Starmer, his basic wage before the Prime Minister wage on top, which a lot of them don't take. I don't know whether he does. Again, it's only about 85 grand a year. But that is bumped up with an awful lot of expenses and allowances, which we know don't always go where it's supposed to. Yet there's such a big gap in taxes, what you can get, what you can't get. Just pointing out the difference. Yet they class a train driver as a working class man. So is that the difference between elite and working class? 20 grand.
Well, no, because working class only earn about a third of what a train driver will earn.
Oh, Stitch just said her messages aren't always coming in either. Oh. That's totally out of my hands, Stitch. That has got to be YouTube dicking about. I mean, most of these platforms now, YouTube included, it just seems like they're not doing upkeep on any of them, where things just keep going wrong. Is this down to the introduction of the AI everywhere? Because they are using it now in some form or other. I mean, I've even noticed it on X. X it just won't come up for, say, an hour. Yesterday, Facebook had a hissy fit. It was sending me alert after an alert, the same alert. Then I'll get an alert for a comment 15 hours ago. I know some of them come in late when people are making comments on Facebook because of my type of content. Again, I'm put right at the bottom of the feed. If you want to see it on the day it's posted, then you've got to go and find it yourself because they won't put it out in the feed for a couple of days.
I don't get messages for a lot of things on Facebook.
Yeah, that's the thing though, Stitch. It's like if the election was called tomorrow, Farage has still got the advantage. He's still got the best chance of beating Labour everywhere. But the longer it goes on, the more and more the support will be split between the two. And that's splitting the vote, which is doing Labour a huge favour. Yeah, and it's obvious they fiddle fucking election. I mean, look at Carnes, as I pointed out earlier in London, the election on the mayor. How can you get more than 100% of the vote? I don't understand that. What? They don't put that symbol up when they get removed, Loafer. Moo. Cow. Jeez. Oh. No, I was going light-headed then earlier on.
I was just about to say, you're all right there.
Yeah, my concentration's waning a bit, but the headache hasn't started yet.
You've done an hour and a half, and you have had all your hair cut off, so you might be feeling.
Yeah, it's like I'm like Samson. Look, I took all my strength away.
What do you mean?
I look like fucking a bearded action man with the gripping hands. Oh, it was the sea action man, wasn't it, that had the beard? And the little pull cord out the back, barking orders. They used to make beautiful air rifle targets, action man. You know, you could set them up in fucking tanks and helicopters and boats.
Trains and planes and automobiles.
Yeah, the only one we had problems with was in the parachutist, because you had to throw him up in the air and it never went that high. And you couldn't hit him with an air rifle. And we came up with the idea of throwing them up and getting tangled up on the electrical wires so they're just hanging there. That was better. A little rubber inflatable dinghy that used to be able to sit two action men in. It was great. You just push it out into the lake or the big puddle over the field and see how long it takes to sink it.
And he wonders why we never got anything. He just didn't appreciate his stuff, did he?
Yeah, but I had a good supply because I had lots and lots of action men. And when I run out of them, my sister had lots and lots of Barbies and Cindy's, and the clothes fitted them.
Cindy maybe, Barbie never.
Yeah, they looked a bit hangy, but they still look like soldiers at a distance through a telescopic sight.
In a frock.
Well, be realistic. None of them had balls or any or fannies or anything like that, did they? So.
No.
Yeah.
We had this conversation the other day
about
anatomic and the first baby boy.
Oh dear. Fucking hysterical. Nowadays you do something like that, you probably get accused of a hate crime against one of them, you know. Oh, that's a hate crime against, what was it, Martel or whoever it was that bought them out. What was the one the Americans had? G.I. Joe, wasn't it? Was their version of Action Man. Lots of copies, but none nowhere near as good. I used to be amazed at how sort of well matched the accessories were. You know, some of the weapons that the Action Man came with. You know, they were miniature copies of the real thing, as it were. You know, not just some bit of plastic, the shape of a gun. They were actually based on models of real weapons. you. What you want about Loafer? I'll tell you, I am starting to lose a bit of concentration here, guys. I'm having blank spots. So I am going to call that for tonight. I've got through a lot, actually. I mean, I'm down to my last page of my last notebook that I've got, so I've got to go and get some more of them. But the trouble is with all the stuff that's going on, I've got notes everywhere, and then I have to pick through them. Otherwise, I'd just be sat here all night reading them. But I will say thank you very much for everybody dropping in tonight. Yeah, see. Oh, yeah. But with that, I'll say that's good night from me.
And a good night from me.
And as always, no matter what you're doing, stay safe, stay strong, and stay free. If you've got a vote, take it. Make your voice count. Catch you later, people.
Night all.